Hello everyone, welcome back to Vyas Data Talks. Today, I am going to show you how to build a simple but powerful MCP server that exposes a tool for summarizing CSV files. We'll go line by line through the Python code, start the MCP server, and then connect it to a Claude Desktop where we'll upload a CSV file and ask the model to summarize it. By the end of this video, you'll understand how MCP works, how your tool plugs into it, and how AI apps like Claude Desktop in our case can use your code directly. Before we jump into the code, let's take some time to understand what MCP actually is. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It's an open standard that allows AI models to connect to your local tools, files, databases, or APIs securely and in a consistent way. Think of MCP as the USB port for AI. It lets different clients like Claude Desktop, IDEs, or even other AI systems talk to external tools through a single, well-defined protocol. This diagram perfectly shows the ecosystem. In the center, you see MCP, the standardized protocol. On the left are the AI applications that can act as an MCP client. For example, chat interfaces like Claude Desktop, IDs and other code editors such as Claude Code, and other AI applications such as Super Interface. On the right side, you see data source and developer tools these apps can connect to. Databases like the PostgreSQL, SQLite, cloud drives such as Google Drive, developer tools such as Git, and productivity platforms like Slack or Google Maps. The arrows show bidirectional data flow, meaning the model can read from and write to the systems through MCP, depending on the permissions that were assigned. This is what makes MCP so powerful. It's a universal language between AI and your tools. Now that we understand what MCP is doing conceptually, let's build our own tiny MCP server that provides one tool, that is csv-summarizer. Now, let's walk through our code. First, we'll get started with the different types of imports and the setup. Our first import statement is import pandas as PD. We are using pandas for reading and summarizing the CSV files. Next, from MCP server FastMCP, we are importing FastMCP. FastMCP comes from the MCP server library, and it is a quick way to spin up a tool-based server. Next, from mcp.types, we are importing text content. Text content defines a standard text type response from the MCP clients. Then we are creating an MCP server instance and naming it as csv-summarizer. This name is what Claude Desktop will see when it connects to this MCP server. Next, we define our MCP tool using this add decorator and using mcp.tool, where we pass the function name and the description what it is doing. For example, in our case, summarize the contents of a CSV file. This decorator registers a callable tool with the MCP server. Next, we define a function called summarize CSV. And this function becomes a command that you can call from the Claude Desktop. This function takes a single input, that is the file path, basically a string containing the path to the uploaded CSV file. When the tool runs, Claude or any other client passes that path as an input. Next, we are printing the file path that we have received for summarizing. Then we are reading the CSV file using the read CSV function that is available with Pandas. We create a list of summary that contains the file name, the number of rows and columns, all the different column names, and a full statistical summary using the df.describe. Here we are mentioning include equal to all to ensure that all the columns are included, even the text-based ones. Next, we are setting date time is numeric equal to true. Basically, this by adding this, we are making sure that it treats date columns like numeric for all the statistical analysis. Then finally, we are transposing all the results for better readability in our Claude Desktop. Finally, We are joining everything into one big string and wrapping it in a text content object. If anything goes wrong, like an unreadable file or a bad encoding, we catch the exception and return it as an error message to the client. Finally, running the server part. This block starts the server when you run the script. You'll see csv-summarizer MCP server started in your terminal. For example, you can start it by clicking on View and Terminal. Yeah. So using this command, Python, our file name that is the csv-server.py, we'll run the script. And you can see the csv-summarizer MCP server started as printed in the terminal. Now the server is listening for tool calls from the MCP clients. Now that our MCP server has started, now let's test it. For the testing part, we'll be using the Claude Desktop. To install Claude Desktop, you can click on any of the browser that you have and search for Claude Desktop. Click on the top link. And here you can either download it for Windows or for Mac OS. Once you download, this is the screen homepage that you will be seeing for the Claude Desktop. Here you can start a new chat. You can see all the chat histories, all the different types of projects that you create in the Claude Desktop application. So we have created a tool that is the csv-summarizer, which uses the function summarize.csv. So here in the Claude Desktop application, in the chat window where you can see how can I help you today, you see this symbol, search and tools. Click on that. Here you will be able to see our MCP instance, that is the csv-summarizer, which we had defined it using the FastMCP instance here, csv-summarizer. And once you click on the csv-summarizer, this is the function that we had defined, summarize CSV in our code. Yeah. So now we'll upload a sample CSV file. So let me show what is there in the sample CSV file. So here we have a very simple CSV file which contains around 10 rows and 6 columns. First column is the date, the product, the regions, basically north, south, east, west. What was the sale value? How many quantities were there? And what was the discount given for each of this? Yeah. So we have uploaded this CSV file in the Claude Desktop, and I'll just say summarize the CSV and click enter. So here you can see it is calling the summarize CSV function that we had defined, basically the tool summarize CSV. It is reading the file directory, basically the CSV file that we had uploaded, and it's basically generating all the charts and insights, which will be and then present it to us. So we had given the prompt, summarize the CSV, and we had uploaded our CSV file. See, we can see what is the total sales, that is 9,600. Total quantity, that is 118. The average discount was around 5%. It is also giving the sales by different products. For example, for widget A project, the sales was around 5,100. For widget B, it was around 2,650. For widget C, it was around $1,850. And it also gives you a nice pie chart for sales by different regions. For example, North contributed around 36% of the overall sales, with the value being $3,450. West contributed around $1,400. East $2,200. South 27% with $2,550. And it also gives you the detailed table that we had uploaded. So basically, just by saying the summarize this CSV, it was able to call the function that we had defined, and using the tool that we saw here, the CSV summarizer, it was able to generate all of this just by saying summarize this CSV. So this gives you an instant insight into your data set, basically the column stats, distributions, and data sanity, right inside your Claude Desktop application. And that's it. We've built a working MCP server and connected it to the Claude Desktop. You now understand how Model Context Protocol brings AI. If you found this video useful, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment below what tool you'd like to build for your MCP enable next. Thank you.